Just one second. I will, there should be enough copies. Yeah, there should be enough copies. Okay, so I'll let Steve take it away.
All right. Well, thanks for asking me this. Do the best I can to explain the software without actually being hands-on. I think that's a bit more difficult, but I'll kind of walk through it a bit. After I do the presentation, I'll kind of do a walkthrough of the software. That'll help, I think, at least a bit. So I think those handouts will be helpful as well. Kind of just printouts of some screenshots. We thought it would be useful for you guys to maybe jot down some notes. All right. So I guess in terms of what I think would be best for everybody to get out of this workshop in terms of learning objectives. So I wrote down 3. So the first one here, basically, by the end of this, it'd be useful for you to be able to describe what the basic functional capacities of EndNote are. I'm leaving it pretty basic for sake of time, but by the end of it, you should be able to describe what it can do, be able to identify key features of the software, and really recognize how useful it can be when you're writing some article or paper or project. It's very useful to have a software manager for references. Okay, and so I'll start off with the first one here to describe the basic functional capacities. So I've put it into 2 general functional capacities of EndNote. First, so EndNote can it's very useful in building a reference library. So within that library, or you can use multiple libraries that you can access at any time. You have references in there for any sort of paper you're writing. You have a library of references that you can access and maintain and draw from at any time during your project. At the same time, it's very simple to organize and develop a bibliography within your project instead of having to do it manually, which can take a long time and very error prone. Software can do it for you. It's very cool. And it's really simple transitioning from EndNote to Word and vice versa. So those are the basic functional capacities of EndNote. So moving forward, we'll look at the key features of the software. So I decided to put a screenshot of it on the slides here. So this is the main page of the software. So this is the latest version. I think the older versions might look a bit differently, but this is the latest version, X8. And so I'll highlight a few important parts of the main page. So there on the left, you see in the square the library. So that's where basically you can access any references you have in that library. So you have right there all references. So in this case, it's just a blank library, so I don't have anything in there. So that's where you can go to view any references you have in there. Anything you add will be displayed there in the middle, that blank page. I think on the printouts, yeah, there actually is some references in that library. See how it looks. The toolbar at the top, that's really like most software. That's where you can access all kinds of tools. So that's within there is where you can find many of the features. You can also find them in the toolbar, the shortcut toolbar here. So I'll just highlight a few key ones. We'll also walk through this a little bit afterwards with the actual software and make it a bit easier. Once that's there, you can add a new reference there. You can search online within the software instead of going through a browser for articles or for books, etc. There's a shortcut there for importing a reference. That would be importing a file, a specific file. You can also do it with import folders of files, which I'll show you in a bit. There is, so right now you have on the left is the local library that I just created. You can also have an online library, which is where the arrow is pointing. So anytime you search within the software online in some database for a reference, it'll add it to your online library, which won't be necessarily inputted into your local library, but it will just save your searches there. And then from there, you can transfer into your own library. So we'll save it there. We'll see that a bit more later on. The arrow there points to the style of the references. So you can change the style within 1 or 2 clicks. Right now, I just have to set to Harvard. And then last, when you have a reference highlighted in the middle, the right window pane there shows more details about that specific reference. Okay, so really when you're building your EndNote library, so I guess it depends where you're going to be starting. If you already have a whole database of references that you haven't organized into a library yet, or if you're just really starting from scratch while you're writing and this is your first one, it really depends. When it comes down to it, there's multiple different ways of adding references into your library and then being able to access them. So you can import via PDF, so you can either do one at a time, or if you have a lot of PDFs, you can import them all together. I'll show you that later. If you don't have a PDF, you can have just a citation style or file, where it's a file of just the basic info needed to cite that reference. The most common would be an RIS or RIS file. If you're looking online, which I think most of the time you will be, that's looking for databases. I highlighted there PubMed. That's one I've usually used. I'm sure everybody uses a different one. I don't know why I always use PubMed, but found online. So from those articles you find online, you can get citation files, get PDFs, get what's called an accession number, and you can import any of that into your library as well. That accession number, it's called a session number in EndNote. I think it's also called differently in maybe on PubMed. I know that PubMed calls it the PM ID, PubMed ID. I know UI is also another term for it. You can just copy that number and write into a new reference in the library without anything else. And that number is unique, and it'll update and it'll add all the details and then after, and I'll show you that. If you want to find a reference, if you want to add a reference from your library into your library from another article, then references, they usually will state the session number in those references. So you can just copy that right into your library, and it's pretty simple. I'll show you that. Like I just said, references from another article. It's pretty simple in the software to do that. Here's the article. So there's just an example of a search I did on PubMed. I'm trying to highlight where exactly you can find these things. So in PubMed, I'm not sure how it is in different databases. If you go to that send to, you can just highlight and you can download a citation directly. If you have access to the full text, go to the full text, you can download the PDF. You can download a citation file from there. Or, as I mentioned, a session number. So this PubMed shows with the abstract at the bottom shows the PubMed ID. It's that number there. You can just copy that number into a new reference in your library, and and you can update it without anything else. Yep.
Can you, is there any way to import both the citations and the PDF at the same time? It's the most time consuming thing that you download the citation and then you just text.
Right. I don't know. I'm sure. I was just wondering why would you need both, I guess? Because I guess both would give you the same information for a reference.
Because the citation file, I use it to quickly look at reader to do the article say whatever it is for a reference.
Okay.
So that's where I go to find.
Right.
I use it as an article library as well.
Okay. Yeah. You can go ahead and walk through the software and help see if you can. Yeah. That's a good question. Okay. Okay, and then the last point for building an EndNote library there. So you can build multiple different libraries for different research that you're working on. You can build different groups within a library. So I'll show you that. But so within a library, you can have different groups separated, or you can have multiple libraries for different areas of research. And there's just a screenshot of that there. So at the top there, you have the Groups tab. So you can create a group. So in this particular library, I have 10 references in there. Create a group. showed it down there, skip a few steps. So now I have two separate groups, one education, one medical, and then you can kind of move specific references in your library into certain groups, dependent on whatever that group is, so that when you want to look at just certain references, I just want papers that are education-based, and I can just go straight to that group instead of having to search through all the references in the whole library. Okay, that's basically the basics of building a library. In terms of editing and maintaining it, what I tend to do is anytime I add a reference to the library, I'll update it immediately, because most of the time, if I download a PDF, it usually doesn't have all the data or all the info. But when you update it, it'll update everything about that article or book immediately. So I'll ensure that I'm updating it immediately, and then if anything, it might be updated at some points later on, maybe a month later, the journal updated the article for some reason. So you make sure you're updated so that when you're building the citations or the bibliography, it's correct, it's the correct style, the correct form that's required. And then in terms of changing the style, as I mentioned, you can easily change the style of your references with 1 or 2 clicks, and I'll show you that in a few minutes. Okay, so now back to the last learning objective. So I identified the key features, and so now really it gets down to it, why using it and how is it useful, and I'll really show you how useful it can be. And so with Word, there's an EndNote plugin. So that plugin allows for a really easy transition between the EndNote software and Word software. It really makes it easy for adding citations into your text and forming that bibliography automatically. So this is a shot of the EndNote plugin in Word, highlighting a few important parts. This is where you can insert citation, you can edit citations, go to EndNote, go back and forth. Here's where you can edit the style. You just change the style, it'll change automatically. And an important part here is instant formatting. So if instant formatting is on, whenever you add a citation or remove a citation, whatever, or if it's updated in the library, it'll instantly change that citation within Word to match the updated information. If it's off, it won't update it at all until you turn on instant formatting. And I'll show you that as well. I'm not sure, not really. I've never not used it. I'm sure there may be
I've not used it when I've had tons of citations in the paper, because every time you add a citation, it's like ton, you're waiting and waiting for it to do it at the end. I have the legacy paper open, and I was having trouble the past day getting a reference in. It was pretty little brackets around it, and I just realized that was off. So I don't know between.
Right. So yeah, so I guess at the end you could also just turn it on and it should format it all together at once. Okay, so just a quick example. So in here, I insert citation. This box will come up. Search for a certain article in your library. Insert it. And so what it did, it inserted the citation there. And at the same time, made the reference in the bibliography in a certain style, so CPNC kind of thing. So that all happened in basically 1 or 2 clicks. So I didn't have to do anything else. That's really cool, very useful. And instead of doing it manually, I think before I started using a reference software, doing it manually, and then after I used software, I realized how much time I wasted not using it before. So it has, yeah. So it has built in. It has the.
And it recognizes.
Yeah. So it's based on the style, right? And then So when you change the style or whatever's in your database or what that style means, it'll just change all author format, everything. I can show you an example. And another great thing about it is that you can use it on multiple platforms. So if you're writing on your laptop or your desktop or even on your phone, if you have to use Word on your phone, you can use it on there as well. All you have to do really is ensure that you are carrying your library with you, so you can copy. There's two files, and I'll show you that in a minute. There's the library file, and there's a data folder that you'll have to copy over with you, and so to have it with you when you want to access that library. All right, that's like a summary of those learning objectives. So hopefully, well, I guess by the end of the walkthrough, you'll be able to know these a bit better. And I know we're going to give out the presentation, email it out. So there's some extra resources here that you can go to if you want more information on it. There's a video, it's called a short course, I think it's like 25 minutes or so. And then there's a reference guide and a user guide from the makers of the software. So you can check those out as well. All right. So from there, I'll just open up the software, kind of do a walkthrough with you guys. So just open up the software. So I don't know if you guys want to see the best way of going about it. I'll create a library from scratch. So a file, a new library, workshop. Load up blank page. Right there. Okay, so it's kind of similar to the screenshots I was showing you earlier. So I'm going to build my library. Say I already have a bunch of references saved that I haven't organized. I just have them all PDFs in a file or in a folder that I would like to just import into library if I want to access it later on. So I'll go into import. You can import a specific or one file if you just want to import one file. I'll have a folder of PDFs. Import folder. Go find it. Get my documents. PDF. Okay. Options include files and subfolders. It's just one folder for me. I won't create a new group. All the import are PDFs, and I'll just import them all. If you think you might have duplicates in there, you can discard duplicates. You can import into a separate duplicates library. But for this, I don't have any references yet, so there won't be any duplicates. So import. That might take a few seconds.
May I ask if those bars are black?
Yeah, I don't know why they changed the color.
Which or are they like that?
No, it's not normal. I think it might just be from the connection to the TV.
An excellent illustration to contrast not being
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's just the connection to the TV.
So, well, that's one of the questions. In the search, you created folders, and you are for different groups within your library.
Right.
And there's a citation that you put, and it actually could go in either two folders, but you want to find it. But you don't want to go through all the folders. Could I search for the citation, and it will go to the folders to, like I realized if I knew where it was, I'd go to the folder, but if I knew, oh my God, did I find it here, did I find it there? And you put in it, will it switch?
Do you want to search for it within your library?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You can go to all folders.
it'll go to all folders. What do you mean by it will go to all folders?
Like it was in different groups, sorry. There were 3 or 4 different groups. And
yeah.
the citation could fit into 2 groups. But I chose group B.
Right. Oh, let's see.
So you can put one particular more than one group.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So like you can think of it in both multiplicity and multiplicity and both entities. And you put it in 3.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so it's imported all those PDFs out in that file. Just a bunch of papers ahead from my thesis. What you'll notice is that these ones here didn't give all the information. don't know why. Again, I think I just downloaded those from PubMed at one point. So what I would do here normally is I would want to update all these references. I'll just do one. You can highlight them all and then reference or update. I'll just do one. Highlight one here. Right click. I'll do find reference updates. And if there's any updates, it'll find it for you. It should probably be updated already. It should be already up to date. Just to make sure. Okay, and from these ones here, there is no information really that it shows. And so you can view all the information that it imported, which is basically nothing for this particular reference. So in this case, what I would do is I would just search for this article online and then try to get the information from there. So there's the PDF file. Contract as well. Yeah. So in this case, it didn't access it. Okay, sure. Yeah. Let's try that out.
So how come it would work to update that
I guess whatever is in that PDF, it wasn't able to access. Yeah, I don't know why. So in that particular article, I think it was a fairly older article. It was from like 1992 or something, but in the second one, I think it's better now.
So that problem if I just call that it have me and import and import the even all the stuff, the citation will come with that.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you can get the PDF, I think that's the best because it's the PDF of everything. I can choose. Right.
Well, I use it like I have multiple subfolders, and sometimes we share EndNote libraries with one team working on one project or another project. But also, if I want to write, I don't know, the background section of a paper, I don't want to have to scroll through to find the references, but I can go to the like all the ones on Polygon and just sort of quickly skim through them.
Right.
Also use it for systematic review if you want to separate out where you thought it was in, like literature, right? As for when you're writing it through little charts.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Share these groups, right? Like you have
I think.
You can share that, can't you? Not your whole library.
I believe objects you can
Yeah.
share your library.
If you have multiple people sharing the same global yeah, you can share it, like not the whole thing. You can see the group. Yeah, but you can't have multiple people coming into the same library and some people understand. I don't think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sending group understanding the person you're sending it to.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess in terms of all that what you guys just said about groups, that's basically it. But then you also looking at smart groups, which is kind of grouping smartly, I guess. You can group based on specific aspects of whatever you want in that group. So you can put all papers or books that are done by a certain author into one group, or that has some keyword in the title into one group. As a smart group, instead of if you just created a normal group. So you create a group, you can here, a new group, and then you can drag or copy reference to or add reference to that new group, or you can drag them over physically, but if you do a smart group, it does it for you basically. in terms of the keywords within that article. Okay.
So you showed how to bring from one folder altogether. What if I want to bring from PubMed?
Okay. Glad you asked. So we can go, there's here. So go to PubMed here. So this will take a suggestion. What should I search for? Anything? Would you suggest that to some topic? Polypharmacy. Polypharmacy. Okay. I'm sure 7,400 articles on polypharmacy. Okay, so it really depends on what the article that you're looking for you're able to access. So in these cases, all these ones you can't get the PDF. So this one here, you can get the free article, so you can get that PDF file. Or if you don't have access to PDF, let's just go to this one. So you have multiple ways of getting this reference into your library. You can either go here, send to citation manager, and it'll create that citation file. So I'll do that. So downloaded, now I can open it with the software, if that's okay. And so there, it imported just like that into that library. And it added to all references, but there's specifically an imported reference, which is just the one. I'll update it to see if there's any updates. So you can give an example of what would come up. All right, so this one can be updated. It highlights the differences. So this is available updates. And this is what on the right side is what the info is already on that in your library. Left side is the updates. So there's some notes, URL, stuff like that. I use just URL fields.
Why is there a difference? You do draft it. Why should there be a difference?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's not something I can answer though.
Anyway,
Yeah.
you want to update content.
Yeah. Anytime I'm going to be using, if I'm going to use that reference for something, I'll update it first for sure.
What if it's in
And if it is metadata based on, or in the PDF file might have.
Okay, so that was one method. I can't access the PDF, but you can also do what I mentioned, a session number here. So in this case, it's a PubMed ID. So I'll copy this. Actually, there you can maybe do a different article. So I already have this article in mind.
You don't want to use the PDF.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I'll walk through both. How about that? This is a different one. I'll take the PubMed ID from this specific article. Since I can't access this PDF, I'll go into the software. So I just copied that PubMed ID or the session number. I'll go to my library. I'll click on Add or New Reference. Yeah. And so this is, you can manually fill in things. I don't know why anybody would want to, I guess. So that's PubMed ID. I just copied. You can copy right in here the session number. So I'll paste it there. And I'll save that. So I'll exit the specific reference. And so now it was right here, so it's just a blank. So I'll click it. I'm going to update this. And so just based on that number, it'll be able to import all other data, information. So it's going to give me everything to do with that article, just from that number.
There's a way to keep your whole library to push something out there.
I'm not sure if it'll auto-update by itself. If you keep, well, you can sync it, sync the library.
So you would just select all the references and update.
Yeah, I mean, you can highlight them all and update, but that could take, I mean, if it's,
I think you did that. You could minimize it, let it happen.
yeah.
What happens a lot is that all the EPUB ahead of time, right?
Will change it.
Once they finally have a real place in the journal, then their whole citation.
Yeah, exactly. And so you need to update it once that comes in. I don't think it updates by itself. Okay, so that was that example. I'll give you an example of just getting a PDF. So this one here, we have access to the article. So I'll go to this full text free article. And here, you could get a PDF. There's also a citation here. So you could just download the citation file, RIS file. These ones, those are RIS. So in this case, I can access the PDF. So I'll just open the PDF up. I'll download it. Just save it. And now it was what it's in my downloads folder. So I'll just into EndNote. I'll import the file. I'll find that file, just download it. It should be here. This article. With the PDF file, you can also do other options. You can import a whole other library if you wanted to into another library. You can the RIS file there, different options. PDF for the duplicates, like I said, you can check for that. If it's a different language, you can translate. I've never tried that. I'm not sure how well that works. So import that. Okay, so that's one I just imported. And then I'll just update it. So I always do.
Why do you have to update it?
Yeah, well, let's see, this is already up to date. So just in case it was not up to date for whatever reason.
Really?
I've had that, yeah.
Okay, all right.
I always just like to update it. You can never go wrong with updating.
Okay.
Yeah.
I bet it would be up to date.
Yeah, you would think so, but I'm guessing, since maybe in the PDF, if they've updated in the journal,
Okay, all right. Yeah.
they haven't changed their PDF file yet. Yeah. So yeah, that's a good walkthrough of importing. I also mentioned you can, instead of going, so I went separately, I went to Firefox and went into PubMed. You can do a search within the software, which is here. So you go online search mode. And so now you can search within the software, different databases. Here's PubMed here. So search in PubMed. A small screen, but so you can search in here as author and change it if you want to search for a specific thing. As author, and search for a title, polypharmacy here. Search polypharmacy, and they come up with 1,413 records. Might take a while to bring those up, so I'll bring it down to 10. I think this would be if you already know the article you want, because you can't access PDF or anything, you can't read it in here, so this will just give you a list. Okay, so you can list of everything just found on PubMed. If you want to look at that specific one, you can go to the URL. So if I want to check that article out, I should open it up. So go to PubMed in the browser, and you can view it there. Kind of like just what you just did on the browser. It's kind of an alternate method of searching. You can search within the software.
That's the only one I've ever used, because we have papers and I know what the references are.
Right.
And I just need to get them in.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And then, so this built an online reference here. So those 10 that I just came up in my search, the 10 online references that'll stay there. So it's separate from my own library, which is the other 19 I already had. So you can go to that anytime. You can highlight one. I don't think so. It can. It'll be separate. It'll separate into different searches, I believe. If you wanted to add to your library, directly reference to my workshop library.
So the article that I know I've had last month, and I can't remember it, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Library not show up. Like mine has my libraries on top, and I have the online search at the bottom, so they do have that. I just drag to my library the one I want.
Okay.
And mine goes, I think mine's one version older. So I have my library and all my online searches, and then I can just drag.
Yeah, so
I don't have to do that.
they must have just changed the UI. You can probably physically change it.
I wonder if where it says my library is an
Right.
upward facing arrow. Doesn't it come down?
So if you want to say if I wanted to take this, you mean, and bring it to your
Yeah, like
library.
my library would be on top, workshop, like where it says online reference,
Yeah.
say library, workshop, and then we just drag up instead of how you did in a two-step.
Right. Yeah. You could probably change that in the settings.
I think that third button does it.
This one? Oh, there. Integrate.
This is the
Oh,
combined.
there
Yeah,
you
there
go.
you go.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's what I have.
Integrate. So then you have to both show. Yeah. That's a good point. Okay. So I guess I'll open up Word, which will be the next step. So I just took a couple paragraphs from a paper and removed any references. So on Word, you don't have the EndNote plugin enabled. You can enable it. As long as it's installed on your computer, just go into Word and add-ins. Within add-ins, you can enable EndNote, just in case you haven't enabled it or if it's not enabled in your Word. So here's so before, kind of cut off a bit, make it a little smaller. Okay. So here, so about this, I wanted to add a citation after this first sentence. So insert a citation. This thing will come up. You know what the reference is. So search for it. I'll just say it's this one. And I'll insert a citation there. And so what it did, created in-text citation there. At the end, it created the reference and the bibliography at the very end. And those are both in the style of this specific journal, the NC Public Health. You can find other styles depending on what you want. So you have a whole database of their styles. I know journals like specific, most journals, if not all journals, have their own style, even though it could be the exact same as other ones. They just give it their own name, just so that maybe it's easier for people who want to submit if they're just going to go to that journal style instead of having to, do they do APA or do they do whatever. So you can find a specific style with it, if it changed it. You can really change it because the style is pretty much the same, but it'll change that reference.
What's an author style?
Yeah, okay, so APA 6 is in there. So just change that in text. Now put the authors like that in text, and then it would have changed the bibliography entry at the end. Which is pretty cool. For the most part, I haven't had issues finding the style that I need to find. You can download, yeah, you can search online. Yeah, so that makes it very useful. So if I didn't have the formatting, so it won't change it now. So if I want to add a citation here, I'll show you an example. So let's add this. So that's kind of, I think, what Jennifer was saying. It showed it was a bracket. And then it wouldn't have made a bibliography entry at the end. But if I turn the formatting on, it'll change that. So now it's proper for that style APA, and it made the entry or the entry at the end.
No, it'll be
yeah, so it's really working with the EndNote library at the same time as Word. That's what makes it very useful. And if you updated in, say I updated a reference that I already cited in here, updated it in the library, all you do is press your update citations, and it'll just update anything that might have changed.
So if you were to accidentally change the actual written text there, does that break the connection at all, or when you hit update, will it fix it?
That just happened by itself. So let's see, I'll delete, and then it just did it by itself. Just accidentally delete something. Very cool.
The only thing annoying is if you actually click on that reference, it always keeps out of the reference.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's any other questions? Yeah.
I'm just going to bring up sharing it in the library and how you kind of be a master library keeper if you were
Right.
and I haven't done this for a while. So what happens when you share a library among different people and somebody's updated it and you haven't, and that kind of person issue? Do you know if you import it, does it update it automatically based on somebody else's changes or how that happens? Because the disadvantage to a program like this for all the things is that working as a team is difficult because you have to bring that library with you wherever it goes to be used. Whereas if we were using something like Mendeley, that's in the cloud and everybody accesses it. So there's pros and cons, but what about that library sharing stuff? Or anybody else who has that experience?
Yeah. Yeah, personally, I actually I never shared a library with others, so I'm not sure exactly what happens.
Especially a library with a number of users, it's quick. So there's an online web. So the full library is online. We run the owner, but it's stored online. And so if I update, for instance, on my computer, and then I click the sync button, which is
the sync button.
Yeah, sync library. That will just sync it with the online version, and it means that next time Ken or Tina or anybody opens it, it will sync their version as well. And the same as they do the same thing, they import new ones, it'll sync with that common.
So, and there's no charge for that.
You have to know your account information. If you're using an account with somebody else's credentials from 5 years ago in the department, you're not going to be able to share.
I also find online because I'm think that's actually the issue. But if I make changes online before I close it, it always asks me, do you want to change this now? Right. And so like yes or no, depends on whether I have time. Because I've done quite a few and I don't have the time. I'll say no, but then it will say you have to do it next time. So they automatically function.
That's good.
And IT helped us get that point. And if you sort of looked at they didn't know they had it in a new version, and they went forward at it, but they now help groups through this.
Right.
Right, and just one more question about that is across different versions of software that help
Yeah.
I got stuck one time and I actually phoned EndNote directly to the helpline, and they were very, very helpful. They were really, really helpful. They did the thing where they can log in and take over my computer and show me exactly where I had gone wrong and fix my problem. So that was as a last resort.
Yeah.
How many computers are using EndNote? And is anybody using a different reference management? Yeah. I was going to ask what the best way to import using reference management. So that was the question in terms of importing from a different reference management.
Right. So you can export your library from Mendeley, and you should be able to import it into EndNote.
As like a .rs file.
Yeah, or different file type. I'm not sure what.
Yeah, I know I looked it up because Rick uses Mendeley, and apparently you can move the libraries back and forth because I'm using it.
See, one little, although we don't use it, maybe a found with the C library is that if I'm using, I found a plugin, no access to the internet, and editing something. I've still got on my computer EndNote library, but for some reason, if I don't open the EndNote library first and then the Word document, as soon as I do something with the references, like that section has got references and it needs to update, the whole thing just freezes, which is a real pain. So I can get into it, but it was really frustrating a few times.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so I mentioned those two. You want to carry your library with you. So it should be within your documents. So there's two things you'll need to carry with you. So this is that file, workshop file, and also that's the library called workshop, and this folder, workshop.data. So that in that folder will have the PDFs and everything. It should have anything about your references.
Your library and the
Yeah, so that just basically carrying all the data from those references in that folder with you. So you'll need, if you want to access your library somewhere else, you'll need that folder. Yeah, you'll need that folder and this file. Those two things you'll need.
Otherwise, it is on the cloud as well.
I don't think so.
But how would?
You could probably, if you have your library, if you have PDFs that you imported, and then you don't carry them with you, and you try to open it up without that data file or data folder, I think it would try to find information online instead of through your folder. So it might just try to connect.
I have a shared library feed, and I can open up all the PDFs. I don't physically PDFs.
Okay.
There's
cool.
magic.
It's like the PDF kind of downloading the application and then downloading the PDF and then attaching it. Right. But it might not happen in the phone.
Okay. Let me try. I'll try removing this data folder.
But it didn't share, right? Like I have to physically have to write it to somebody else.
That only happens when you're.
Yeah, maybe they are two separate. If they have to be sharing the library, you'll have the PDF, but I think what you were talking about is if the owner tries to do more than one computer, their own library, so it's still the same username, right? So I think that's why we need the two folders. When it's still you, two, three computers, as opposed to you inviting somebody.
Yeah. So that's right. So if you're signed in to an account, you're doing that cloud service. That's probably part of the license, I'm assuming. But if you're not, so in my case, I'm not signed in online. So if I wanted to access this workshop library, and I wanted to go onto the desktop in the office, I wouldn't be able to access it without carrying that data file. So I'll try that. So I moved that data file out of this folder, and I'll open up that library without that data folder. So this comes up. So you could do it without the associated data folder. It's not recommended because you could result lots of data. So let's see what happens when you say OK. So I might just click on. Let's see what happened there. So I have that file, but I can't access that PDF. It looks like most of the information is still there. Yeah. And I can probably still use that in Word, even without the PDF. I'll try it. So let's see. I'll show you a different way of inserting actually. So once you highlight this spot you want to insert citation, you can actually do it directly from EndNote as well. So you know it's this one. I'll do insert citation up here. And just put it into Word for you instead of doing it this way. So it's two different methods. So I added it there, and I added it there. So I think it turned out okay. It just didn't have the PDF, but that's because those references were PDF based. So
you know the EndNote tab that directly
if you don't have this here,
yeah.
I'm not sure if you can do it without the plugin enabled. So if I disable that plugin, it might not work, but it could work. I've never experiment on it.
Yeah, if you don't have the plugin, I believe that it's the file to install is just in the EndNote folder. The opportunity to install it gets installed with EndNote even if you don't choose to install it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think, yeah. So I think it would, if you have EndNotes open, then you could put EndNote tabs on here.
I'm going to actually, I'm sorry to use the plugin. I just noticed when you did it before, there were several options.
On this page? Yes,
No,
this one.
no, if
Oh,
people
so
don't
for
have it as a plugin in Word,
here.
in Word.
Right.
There's
So it's like
three of
this
them,
much.
which one do you choose for just one?
You probably need all three to be enabled on the plugin. I think it's just you do separate ones. But if I removed so this one EndNote site while you write, it's probably the instant formatting part of it. So if that wasn't there, you might not be able to do that. I don't know. I think just when you have EndNote installed, it'll install these automatically. It should, and if it doesn't, you can come into here and enable it. Yeah. Great. Any other questions? Good.
Thanks so much.
All right, thanks.